Okay, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order, and we'll start with our invocation and our pledge of allegiance.
Let's bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, as we meet today, we ask that you guide our thoughts, our ideas, and our decisions, Lord, and give us insight about our work so that we may benefit our citizens. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with us in Easter, and may that joyous time bring peace and happiness to you and our families. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a proclamation by Ms. Longoria.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. Proclamation reads, whereas the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development implemented the Community Development Block Grant Program in 1974 for the purpose of providing local governments with the financial resource to assist low and moderate income persons. And whereas the City of Mission has utilized nonprofit organizations to address neighborhood and human needs and has made a significant impact on our community through the funding of programs for youth and the elderly, housing assistance programs, economic development, and water, sewer, and drainage improvements. And whereas the City of Mission and other local governments have clearly demonstrated the capacity to administer the CDBG program to identify, prioritize, and resolve pressing local problems. And whereas the City of Mission adheres to policies set forth in Title 8 of the Civil Rights legislation, further known as the Federal Fair Housing Act, which recognizes, supports, and encourages the right of every person to live in the housing of the individual's choice. And whereas said legislation was adopted in April 1968 by President Lyndon B. Johnson, prohibiting discrimination in housing practices based on race, color, national origin, age, religion, sex, familial status, and handicap. And now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Mission, do hereby designate the month of April as Fair Housing Month, 50 years of opening doors, and further April 2nd through the 6th, 2018, as National Community Development Week, celebrating the success of community development block grants, proclaimed on this, the 26th day of March, 2018.
Thank you.
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion second to go ahead and approve the proclamation on the Fair Housing Month. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against,
Thank
motion
you.
carries.
Ms. Longoria, do you have any board members that are here with you present today?
Yes, he just made it. So this is Lenny Garza.
Howdy.
Aye.
He's one of our newest members. So do you want us to go up there? Or?
You all want to take a picture with the council? Thank you.
How are you?
I don't know why they couldn't come today.
Next to the man. There you are, right there.
One and one. Perfect, thank you. Just.
Right down this side.
Perfect.
Okay.
Three, two, one.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We need Mission Chamber of Commerce for their report.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. I'll begin with recent events. On Friday, March 16th, we hosted a Coffee Connections at Chick-fil-A near Sherry Road. Overall, it was a very successful event, and we had 40 people attend this event. Next, this past Friday, we hosted our annual golf tournament, the Tom Landry Golf Classic at Cimarron Country Club. Overall, we maxed out on teams, which we had 30 teams participate for this year's annual golf tournament. The weather certainly cooperated with us. In terms of upcoming events, we will be hosting a public speaker workshop on April 4th at the Mission Chamber of Commerce. This event is free to attend to the public, and the event will be from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. On April 5th, we will be hosting a business mixer at one of our members' venue, the Bryan House. The event is from 6 to 8 p.m. with tickets at $20, which will benefit a nonprofit. On Thursday, April 12th, we will be hosting a leadership game night at the Mission Chamber of Commerce. The event is from 6 to 8, and the cost to join us that night will be $10 for members and $20 for non-members. On Monday, April 16th, we will be hosting a member spotlight mixer featuring the Upper Valley Art League and highlighting some of their art pieces. This event is also from 6 to 8 p.m., and it will also take place at the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce. On Thursday, April 19th, we will be hosting a ribbon cutting for one of our newest members, Hot Yoga Studio. The event will take place at 516 Sherry Road, Suite E, Mission, Texas, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., so we certainly invite you all to that. On Thursday, May 3rd, we will be hosting another member spotlight mixer at one of our other members' locations, Vom Foss. The event will take place at 3300 West Expressway 83, Suite 1240 in McAllen, Texas, at the Palms Crossing Shopping Center. The event will take place from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. On May 4th, we will be hosting a business workshop on Facebook ads. The event will take place at the Mission Chamber of Commerce from 10 a.m. to noon, and the workshop is free to attend. And then lastly on today's agenda is on Saturday, May 5th, we will be hosting a ribbon cutting for 5x5 Brewing Company. The event will take place at their location inside the Seed Building from 2 to 4 p.m. with the ceremony beginning at 3 p.m. So, any questions?
Any questions? Not,
Thank you.
did a motion to approve the report from the chamber?
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to approve the chamber's report. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Item 5 is the department report. We do have some,
We do have a presentation, Mayor. If we may, before we approve the department reports, I'd like to also approve a report from our Public Works Director, Robert Salinas, who's got a presentation regarding our overlay for our streets.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. Come before you to present the project that we have on the asphalt overlays throughout the City of Mission with our overlay task force that we have. We presented back in October some of the streets that we had completed. Now the period is from November 2017 to March 2018. Right now, of course, we have the same crew that we had prior to this, and these are the crew leaders and the heavy equipment operators. I presented those in the last meeting. Go to next. And we have completed from November 2017 to March 2018 a total of 17 projects, 17 locations that we did overlay and in some of them reconstruction. The total asphalt tonnage that we purchased was 8,137 tons, which it's the equivalent to $402,860 that we purchased materials only. This is not including labor. Of course, the labor is through the City of Mission. Next. The first street that we worked on was East 24th Street to Stewart Road. The total tonnage was 375 tons with a total construction project cost of $15,649 of materials only. And then there we have the before and after pictures. This is by the Birdwell Park. That's 24th Street. The next street that we have is Moorfield Road, and that's from over by Tierra Dorada. And this is from Leonor to Tierra Dorada Drive. The total tonnage, asphalt tonnage was 800 tons with a total construction cost of $34,683. Next. And these are the before and after pictures of Moorfield Road. The next one that we have is Colorado Road, and the project was from Sherry to Taylor. And the total tonnage that we used there was 600 tons, and the total project cost was $26,506. And those are some of the before and after pictures with the striping. Next street that we have is Frio Drive, and that's from Trinity to Rio Grande Drive. That's in the Cimarron area. The total tonnage was 250 tons of asphalt, and the total construction project cost was of $9,279. That's the before and after pictures of the completion of the project. Next project that we had was South Street. That's from Sonora to Matamoros. The total tonnage that we spent there was 160 tons of asphalt, and the total project cost was $7,120. And that's the before and after pictures. Next. The next street that we overlay was South Dunlap, west of First Street to North Street. We spent a total of 450 tons of asphalt, and the total project cost was of $20,042. Next. And that's the before and after pictures of the project. And that's, again, another picture. It was a long drive, so we took several pictures to show them here at City Council next. The next street is, or alley, is 12th Street and Rosa Street. That's the alley just west of Rosa Street, between Rosa and Kika. The tonnage, total tonnage of asphalt was 30 tons, and the total project cost was of $1,365. That was an alley work, and that's the before and after. It was a short run of asphalt. So we completed that project. The next project that we had was on the Perkins area, between Conway and Kika Loop. That's 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th Street, Perkins to Kika, and also we had 11th Street from Kika to Conway. The total tonnage was 600 tons and also 450 tons for the 11th Street from Kika to Conway. The project cost was $48,757 for the first project, and the second project, $24,750. We put them together they're in the same vicinity area. You go to next. Here we're just showing the before and after pictures of the whole project that we worked on that area. The next project that we have is 6th Street east of Conway to 7th Street Alley. The total tonnage of asphalt was 40 tons, and the total project cost was of $1,900. That's an alley. And that's the before and after pictures of the project. Next, we had on the 1600 block of Oblate. That's the alley. That's we spent 42 tons of asphalt, and the project cost was $1,992. Again, that's an alleyway, and that's the before and after pictures of the alley completion. Next, we had a special project with the police department. That was a parking lot just south of the police department. The total tonnage as we spent there was 500 tons, and the total cost of the material was of $18,897. That's in the police department. That's the before and after pictures of the parking lot completed as an in-house project. Next, we have an alley, and that's on 4th and Cummings. We spent a total of 48 tons of asphalt and a project cost of $1,900 again. And this is an alley, a short run of an alley, and that's the before and after picture. Next, we worked on Pecan Street, which is East 1st to East 2nd Street. A total of 80 tons were used of asphalt, and the total project cost of $3,115. And that's, we have the before and after pictures of that project. Next, we have Matamoros Street, and that's between Mayberry and Highland Park. We spent a total of 320 tons of asphalt, and the total project cost of materials was of $13,932 for this project. And these are the before and after pictures of the project. Next, we have the Las Fuentes subdivision. That's here just north of 495 along Mayberry. The total tonnage that we used was of 700 tons of asphalt with a total project cost of $33,000. And those are the before and after pictures. We had a few cul-de-sacs that we worked on that subdivision. Next. This next project is Glasscock Road, and that's from FM 495 to 2 Mile Line. We spent a total of 1,600 tons of asphalt, and the project cost just of material was of $85,000. Next. And those are the before and after pictures with the striping completed as well. Next, and this is an ongoing project, we're about 75% complete. I'm going to say it's from Bryan, from FM 495 to 2 Mile Line. And the total projected, I'm going to say projected because we haven't completed the project, we should be completed tomorrow or the day after, no later than Wednesday. It's 1,100 tons of asphalt, and the total projected cost will be of $55,000 for this project. So this is a project that we're still working on, and we should finish midweek this week with striping as well. So this is the project that we have. Next. And these are all the 16 locations that we worked on, and that's from November 2017 to today for the asphalt overlay project. Thank
Let
you.
me tell you, you all did a very good job on the streets.
Thank you.
And I have to commend all of you
Yes, sir. I'll
for a
let,
great job. And I hope you all keep it up.
Sure.
You still have about 2/3 of the city to do.
Yes.
And I think this is a good idea, of just keeping on resurfacing streets that we can afford to do.
Thank you. Mayor.
Thank you all very
Thank
much
you.
for a good job.
Thank you, Robert.
So now I do need a motion to approve the department reports, as including what Robert just represented.
I move to approve.
Second.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve the department reports? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Citizens' participation, we do have anybody who would like to address the council, not having anything to do with our agenda today. State your name and address, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is John Neely. I live at 506 Mercury Street in Mission, and I'm here to express our community's appreciation for one of your employees. His name is Tomas. Recycling is a very big and important part of our subdivision, and Tomas is an excellent representative of your city, and I get numerous comments through our season about how well the recycling is managed there, and he needs recognition. That's my only comment, and thank you for your wonderful employ of Tomas.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Tomas.
Thank you, Tomas. Thank you.
Thank you, Tomas.
Good afternoon, sir, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'm a resident from Benson Pond Drive. As you go Benson Pond south, there's a little street, it's called Kenton, or West Kent, I'm sorry. And I came up to the board members and to the mayor. I said, Mayor, I need help. We have a couple of cup holes. I said, don't worry about it. Go talk to Martin. Martin takes care of it. Martin, thank you. Project's done. All happy. 20 residents are happy, joy. They're walking down the street. Kids are playing on bikes. And he was part of the effort. I saw him. I saw this gentleman down here in the corner, attorney. And we're all grateful for everything you all did for us. So I know a lot of the times residents just complain. I had to come and say, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, I'm the other Tomas, and I'm not here to complain. As I was here the first time and the subsequent time, it's only with my concern to preserve the integrity of the Mission city elections and the subsequent council. First of all, I'd like to thank the monitor, who I see is not here today, but hopefully word will get to them that I thought their article that was on the front page of yesterday's paper, headline Mission Councilman Disputes Residency Accusations, was very well presented with both sides of the story. And it's something that will allow people to make their own decisions, since it was presented in such a fair and balanced way. Unlike the Progress Times, who has failed to mention it even once in the last month and a half that I've been coming, maybe now that the monitor has opened the door for them, they'll feel obligated to report to the city of Mission and its residents what's going on here. I took the opportunity of calling a friend of mine who was a friend of June Brand. I know a lot of you knew her. I didn't have the pleasure or opportunity of knowing her myself. But I asked him, hey, if June was in charge of the paper, she was well known for being the conscience of Mission. And she may not have done much investigative reporting, but she didn't back away from reporting on a couple of topics. She told me that she purposely, this is what he said, she purposely stayed away from investigative journalism, and she felt it was her job to run stories on city council and school board meetings, also engagements and weddings, an old-fashioned weekly paper. And that's all I'm asking for. If the representative of the Progress Times would relay to the publisher that it would be nice to hear what actually happens here and not just avoid it because they may be part of the topic, I think the citizens of Mission will be better off, and so will the surrounding area. Lastly, and I'm keeping it into the 3 minutes, the last time I was here, while I was making my presentation, I was videotaped by one of the council persons. And although I know it's legal, you're in a public place, you can videotape all you want, I think it reduces the decorum that's expected of the council. Not only that, but it could have a chilling effect on future presenters if they think that the council meeting will be reduced to a FaceTime Live. So knowing that you all know how to manage yourselves, I would hope that in some other venue we'll decide to have an etiquette that keeps videotaping of presenters off the list of things to do. I want to thank you for your time, and Mayor, congratulations on those beautiful roads. Looks good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else who would like to address the council? If not, we'll go on to item 1.1A. It was available.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Item 1.1A is a public hearing for a rezoning of 3 acres out of Lot 28-6, West Addition to Sherryland subdivision. The property is currently zoned AOI, and the request is to rezone it to C3 General Business. The applicant is Juan Reyes, and if the council is inclined to approve this rezoning request, it would require the adoption of an ordinance. On March 14, 2018, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing to consider this rezoning request. The subject site is located along the west side of Conway Boulevard, approximately 1,100 feet south of 2 Mile Road. The surrounding zones include R4 mobile home to the north, C3 general commercial to the east. To the west, we have R1 single family, and to the south, we have C1 office building. The future land use map does reflect this area as a general commercial land use, so the request is in line with the future land use map. There was no public opposition during the P&Z meeting. The board unanimously recommended approval of the C3 request. Staff is recommending approval, as is our city manager. This is a public hearing item. Item 1.1A is now before you.
Anybody in favor or against this request? Anybody in favor or against? If not, the recommendation is to approve by the,
I have a quick question, Mayor.
hmm?
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Just how deep is that, Jaime, the property?
This is a little bit over 300 feet deep.
A little over 300? Okay,
I would say it's closer to 500 feet deep.
about 500 feet?
Yes.
Okay. All righty.
Recommended by the Planning and Zoning and staff. And the ordinance number is 4619.
I move for approval as presented, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the recommendation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Item 2.1 is the disposition of minutes approved by the City Council minutes meeting on March the 12th, 2018. Do need a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Second.
Do have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes, motion carries. Do I have to acknowledge the minutes that we had on the juvenile justice and delinquency prevention on October the 12th? And the Mission Economic Development Council or Corporation for the special meeting we had on January the 20th, the Mission Redevelopment Authority on January the 23rd on 27/18, and the Mission Tax Reinvestment Zone on January the 23rd, Citizens Advisory Committee on February the 13th, March the 6th, the Cherry Golf Course Advisory Board on February the 20th, the Traffic Safety Committee, October the 31st on 2017, and the Spear Memorial Library on February the 20th of 2018, the Mission Historical Museum Board on January the 15th of 2018 and February the 13th of 2018. We do need to acknowledge those minutes, and we do need a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the acknowledged receipt of minutes.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. 4.1.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Item 4.1 is the approval of an ordinance of the City of Mission, the City Council of the City of Mission, Texas, approving the negotiated resolution between the City of Mission and Texas Gas Service regarding the company's cost of service adjustment filing. On March the 12th, 2018, Texas Gas Service filed a cost of service adjustment tariff within the incorporated areas of the Rio Grande Valley service area. Consultant recommended adjustments to the company's draft cost of service adjustment tariff. The settlement discussion resulted in Texas Gas Services agreeing to change the initial period from 1 year to 3 years, lower the annual rate adjustment cap from 6% to 5%, apply the annual rate adjustment cap to the total commodity charge rather than only operating expenses, and then also calculating cash working capital using lead and lag days for the most recent rate case rather than just settling the cash working capital. The tariff will become effective as of April the 16th, 2018. Staff recommendation is approval of this ordinance.
The ordinance number is 4620.
Mayor, I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and approve ordinance 4620. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
4.2.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. I come before you to present item 4.2, authorization to approve substantial completion for Mission Event Center. This will allow the city to receive the certificate of occupancy, allowing public use. Staff and city manager recommends approval.
Mayor, move for approval.
Second.
Do I have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the completion of the Mission Event Center? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.
Mayor, we would like to take the opportunity also to invite the public and yourself and the council, of course, on the ribbon cutting tomorrow. Just as a reminder, it's at 5 o'clock tomorrow there at the event center.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 4.3, authorization to award bid to DNG Energy for the replacement of traffic signal loop detectors at various intersections. We received one bid response, award to DNG Energy, lowest responsible bidder, meeting all specifications. The intersections are, there are 13 intersections, which are 7 of them are Sherry Road, and 6 of them are at FM 495. The ones from Sherry are Plantation, Los Indios, Los Milagros, Colorado Street, Victoria Street, East 4th Street, and FM 495. The ones at FM 495, also Griffin Parkway, are Stewart, Mayberry, Gold Street, Bryan, Los Ebanos, and Conway. The bid amount is $95,550. Staff and city manager recommends approval.
We do need a motion to go ahead and approve the only bid, $95,550.
Move to approve.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Ms. Vera, 4.4, tax collection report.
Item 4.4 is the tax collection report for the month of February 2018. The total tax levy is $20,085,577.59, and the amount of collections as of February 28th is $18,125,442.69, which represents 90.24% of the tax levy. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
Need a motion to go ahead and approve the tax levy?
Move to approve.
Second, Mayor.
Do have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. 4.5,
Item 4.5 is the acceptance of the comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2017. This is the acceptance of the period from October 1st of 2016 to September 30th of 2017. In attendance is Ricky Longoria from Burton McCumber and Longoria, who will present the report and any findings related to the audit. I'm going to have him come up.
we do need a motion.
Second.
Can we hear the report first? And
Hold on.
Mayor, can we hear the report first? I think he's ready to give us
I'm
the
sorry.
report.
Vote on it later.
Just a courtesy, he's in the podium.
This is I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Go
Mayor,
ahead.
City Manager, Mayor, members of the City Commission, good afternoon. My name is Ricky Longoria. I'm a partner with Burton McCumber and Longoria, formerly Burton McCumber and Cortez, and here to present for you all's acceptance the audit report for the year ended September 30th, 2017. Certainly we sit here today in March, and one thing I've always said about auditors is we tend to be historians. We always seem to live in the past. And so, again, going back to the date of our audit report, but certainly that doesn't diminish the significance of any audit report. As an auditor, we're here as independent third parties to affirm to you all and to the public certainly the financial statement results of that year. And certainly they become even more important as you progress towards this 17-18 year because they serve as foundation for a lot of decisions that you all have made and will continue to make during this year. And certainly as you develop your budget for the 18-19 year, certainly as a point of reference, I think going back to the audit report and its findings and its results are an integral part of that process. So obviously, this is a 200-page report, and understand that there is a time limit. And so I just intend to go over some things with you all. I've had the opportunity to meet with Martin and staff and discuss certainly in more detail the results of our audit, and I will always make myself available to each and every one of you if you so chose for me to meet with you all one-on-one to discuss any concerns or questions that you all may have. Again, today is merely presentation of the overview of the audit and some of our observations. Also, too, before I go on, I do want to thank staff, Angie and y'all's accounting staff, and Randy. Certainly, without their help, we could not complete this audit. The city is certainly not a small city, certainly from an audit perspective, and it takes hundreds of hours and man hours and a lot of people involved to get to this point, and so certainly want to extend my thank you to them. So I think what was handed to each and every one of you was a couple of pages that were paper clipped together, and I also understand that you all have the financial statements and financial information up on y'all's computers. But there is a process to this presentation, and our professional standards do require that we do discuss certain mandatory items, and that is the essence of one of the letters that you all have before you that's called the governance letter. And it is a 3-page letter. I'm not going to read the letter to you all, but I do need to speak to some of the bullet points or underlying items or conceptual items that are included within the letter. First of all, of course, it is addressed to the mayor and members of the city council. Confirms to you all that we have audited the finance statements of the city of Mission for the year ended September 30th, 2017. It states, of course, the standards for which we conducted our audit, and they extend to government auditing standards and also the uniform guidance single audit process, and that is a requirement. The city for that particular year received approximately $11.5 million worth of federal and state funding for which it was able to use, and so due to that level of funding, there is some additional audit requirements that are necessary. In terms of it talks about significant audit findings, and that's in relation to the audit report. It talks about management's responsibilities and use of appropriate accounting policies, and also speaks to the fact that whether it's this financial statement or any financial statement that you may see from an audit perspective, there are estimates associated with any financial statement, and so in this particular financial statement, some of the more important estimates that we have to address relate to the allowance for uncollectible taxes, for example, or the estimated lives of fixed assets and depreciation. Again, those are estimates, and they're based upon the facts and circumstances surrounding those particular areas. If I turn the page, it's a confirmation to you all on page 2 up on top that we encountered no significant difficulties in dealing with management in performing and completing our audit. As I mentioned earlier, management has been receptive to the process and understand the importance of that process. In terms of corrected and uncorrected mistakes, that particular paragraph just states that there was approximately 44 audit adjustments, which for this city has not been unusual. Certainly they close the books, and the process of closing the books, they're accounting for different things that are coming in from a timing perspective and things of that nature. But just letting you know that there are some adjustments that were posted. The next concept, disagreements with management, just speaking to the fact that we have not had disagreements with management. Certainly in any audit process, you may have differences of opinion throughout that process, but certainly nothing that rise to the level that we would consider to be a disagreement. Confirming to you all as well that management has accepted responsibility for the financial statements and the fact that they signed our representation letter. With respect to management consultants with other independent accountants, just to confirm to you all that to the best of our knowledge, the city has not gone out and performed a process of what is known as opinion shopping. For example, finding a different auditor to the extent that you don't like what we have to say, and finding somebody who would say what y'all would like better. To our knowledge, that has not occurred. And then towards the end, it speaks to other matters, just speaking to the fact that the accounting principles used in preparing the financial statements do conform to Government Accounting Standard Board principles, and then talks about our responsibility with respect to our opinions. And that is just a quick overview of the first part of this presentation. And so, again, this is pretty standard. If you have any questions about this letter, please let me know. I'm going to jump into the actual financial statement report, and again, I understand that is included on you all's screen. It may be best just to hear me speak rather than try to scroll and find what page I'm on, but certainly I will be glad to go at you all's pace. One of the things I do think is important for you all to know, and I think the public should know, is that the audit report, and really the audit reports for the past 16 years, which we've had the opportunity to be involved in, at least certainly the past couple of years, has received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence Financial Reporting. And I do think that is an important indicator from the city's perspective as to how important they see their obligation to prepare a financial statement that is transparent and has information that's reasonably presented. Just by background, and I want to say this because after 16 years, I think we tend to lose sight of the importance of what that means and the fact that I think the city should be proud of it. So I'm just going to read just a quick paragraph. It says, the Government Finance Officers Association established the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence dating back to 1945 to encourage and assist state and local governments to go beyond the minimum requirements, again, beyond the minimum requirements of generally accepted accounting principles to prepare comprehensive annual financial reports that evidence a spirit of transparency. And we hear that a lot nowadays. You know, you're not being transparent enough. You're not being transparent enough. Well, this certainly meets a standard of transparency within the profession. And full disclosure, and then to recognize individual governments that succeed in achieving that goal. Again, hence the actual award. However, the goal of this program is not to assess the financial health of the participating governments, but rather just to ensure that users of financial statements are properly informed. And so just because you have the GFOA award does not mean that they define you to be, a healthy, from a financial statement perspective, a healthy city. However, sometimes you just need to go to third-party readers of the financial statements to find out what their indications of health are. And right now, the city's Moody's rating is big A, little a3, and certainly that's a third-party reader of y'all's financial statements. And that rating, by their definition, indicates that from a financial statement health, that the city is considered a high-quality and low-risk city. And so I think that's important to know, and I think you all have known that, but again, just for the public and for those in the audience, I think that they should know that as well. So I'm now going to speak to just kind of some of the major achievements of the city throughout the year from the financial perspective, and maybe speak to some of the challenges. Let's talk about taxes. Taxes is always on everybody's mind, and specifically tax rates. And on page 196 of y'all's actual report, and the public can go and see, there is a schedule of what the tax rate of the city has been since dating back to 2008. And the tax rate back in 2008 was 0.5566 per hundred. And so that was back in 2008. And so for 2017, y'all's tax rate was 0.4962. And so certainly you all have been involved in the decrease in the rate, and I certainly congratulate each and every one of you all to be so bold, because sometimes that's what it takes. And so certainly the citizens of Mission have been the beneficiary of those lower tax rates. In fact, I am also a citizen of Mission, and so I too enjoy it. But certainly I just want to point that out, because you don't see that from a lot of cities just throughout Texas in general. And so I do think it is an indicator of y'all's ability to certainly try and do more with less, and try to give back to the citizens whenever you can. And so I did want to point that out. I will also say, certainly from a financial statement perspective, the city did face some challenges. For example, sales tax. Sales tax for the year reduced probably about $600,000 or $700,000 for the city. But that has been a challenge for a lot of cities within the Rio Grande Valley. Retail sales have fallen pretty much valley-wide. Most people will attribute that to the Mexican shopper not wanting to or not being able to enjoy the shopping opportunities within the city. But I do think there's other factors as well. You see more people shopping on Amazon and doing a lot of online shopping that unfortunately is taken away from our local communities. And so, I mean, I think that's been a challenge. Also, too, I do think that the city has, entered into a lot of projects. Congratulations on the grand opening of the Mission Event Center. Hopefully, that's something that I will be able to attend and enjoy. But there's also been a lot of investments, certainly within our city, whether it's expansions of the water plant, a new water tower, whether it's the roads, for example, that we just heard about earlier. One of the big things that I'm seeing, of course, is y'all's investments in parks and trying to improve quality of life. If you were to go back to an historical perspective, I think the city was probably spending about $60,000 on parks on an annual basis. And over the past 2-3 years, it's gone to approximately $350,000. So again, there's been a lot of investment by the city into the community in a variety of different ways, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's quality of life, whether it's public safety, again, just all the broad categories that you can think of from a city's perspective. And so in all that, I do want to state that from an auditing perspective, in terms of our audit opinion, the finance statements of the city did receive what's considered an unqualified opinion or an unmodified opinion, which most people would say is a clean opinion. That's certainly what you want to hear, and that is consistent with the opinions that you've gotten in prior years. So that's always a good thing. One of the things I did want to jump back to, though, is back into the numbers. As a result of some of the challenges, I think, and also just the city's investment, there has been a decrease in the city's general fund balance. The city's general fund balance has fallen by about $900,000, more or less. And again, I think that's just indicative of the challenges and coupled by the investments that the city's making. And so that is one area, certainly that Martina and I talked about, because at some point that fund balance, you are going to have to build it up in some way, shape, or form. But I think at the end of the day, it probably deals more with trying to do more with less. And that may be the best approach, but the ultimate approach would be based upon you all's decisions of what you all decide to do. But I just want to point out that total fund balance has fallen. There's a couple of other funds I think that are important to note in this particular discussion, and it has to do with the enterprise funds. You have the utility fund and you have the solid waste fund. The solid waste fund continues to do very well. It was able to add probably another $1 million to its fund balance, and so I certainly want to share that with you all. The utility fund did take some of the fund balance away. It did reduce some of the fund balance. Again, that's just another point to consider. Again, that was part of our discussion with Martin. All in all, I do think that the city's doing well. Foundationally, it's got good bones, if you will, in good infrastructure and a good foundation from a finance statement perspective. But again, I think sales tax and trying to come up with ideas to generate additional sales tax revenue will continue to be a challenge, and it's not just unique to you all. It's a regional issue. But aside from that, that's all I really have as far as the financial statement presentation is concerned. And I would certainly, again, on a one-on-one basis, would be happy to meet with you all just at a time that's convenient to you all. If you all have any questions with respect to the financial statements. Any questions so far? No. If not, I think the only other comment, and I'm not going to go into it in detail, it's just the recognition that certainly as a result of any audit, we see ourselves as partners, and to the extent that we can come up with a comment that can help make the city better, then I think that's where our value really is to the city, is certainly the added value that we bring to an audit. We did have, I would say, less than a handful of comments with respect to areas that we spoke to Martin about in terms of going and addressing and tweaking some processes and procedures. And certainly, certainly we had that discussion. It wasn't my intent to go over each and every one of those comments today. But other than that, I'm done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Longoria.
Okay.
Mayor, I move to approve.
Do we have a motion and second to approve the report? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion
Thank you for allowing us to be of service to you all.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Lerma.
4.6, Mr. Lerma.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. On item 4.6 is the authorization to execute the first year, one-year renewal option with CPS HR Consulting. CPS HR Consulting is a firm that we use for promotional exams under civil service as required by law. We've utilized them starting last year all the way to, the first year contract expires the 25th of April. So at this time, we are recommending that we approve the one-year option, and there is no increase to the contract, and staff and the Civil Service Commission are recommending approval.
So move, Mayor.
Second.
Do I have a motion and a second to authorize? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Against, motion carries. 4.7. Davila.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I come before you with Agenda 4.7, which is the authorizations to purchase automotive parts, fluids, maintenance equipment, and supplies via Byboard contracts and National Intergovernment Purchasing Alliance for Fleet Department. These POs would be with Napa Auto Parts via Byboard 551-17, O'Reilly's Auto Parts via Byboard Contract 551-15, AutoZone via National IPA R17201, and this purchases would be for the remainder of the fiscal year 2017-2018 for repairs, minor repairs on city vehicles and special equipment. The amount is for $30,000, and the city staff and the city manager recommend for approval.
I move for approval.
Second.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. 4.8.
Mayor, City Council, item 4.8 is the approval of a resolution authorizing the Mission Police Department to submit an agreement for the temporary closure of state right-of-way to the Texas Department of Transportation for the 7th Annual Juan Diego Academy Spring Festival 5K Walk and Run. The road closure is from the Juan Diego Academy located at 5208 South FM 494, north to FM 1016, which is Military Highway, east on FM 1016 to Stewart Road, and return back on the same path, ending at the Juan Diego Academy. The event is scheduled for April the 7th between 8:30 and 11:30 a.m. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
We don't need a motion, go ahead and approve Resolution 1540.
Move to approve. Second.
We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.
Mayor, City Council, item 4.9 is the approval of a resolution supporting the submission of a grant application to the Office of the Governor for the 2019 Local Border Security Program grant. This overtime grant will allow Mission Police Department to increase patrol presence throughout the city and especially in and around the U.S.-Mexican border. The total amount of the grant request is $275,000. The grant will be effective from September 1st of 2018 through August 31st of 2019. Staff and city manager recommend approval for the submission of this grant.
I move for approval.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve Resolution 1541. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Against, motion carries.
Thank you.
410.
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 4.10 is to authorize the City of Mission to enter into an agreement with Mr. Apolonio Chapa for planning and utility services. Mr. Chapa has 40 years of experience in the utility field and is uniquely qualified to locate water, sanitary sewer, and drainage line within the City of Mission. Agreement is for 1 year at a monthly compensation of $3,293. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
Need a motion to go ahead and approve? Mayor.
Second.
Do we have a motion second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. 411,
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 411 is the authorization to execute payment for emergency sanitary sewer manhole repairs at the wastewater treatment plant. In accordance with Local Government Code General Exceptions, paragraph 252.022A12, a procurement made because of a public calamity. We retain the services of 5125 Company to repair 2 manholes that are collapsing, causing potential wastewater treatment operator risk of injury and a major sanitary sewer backup. Staff is requesting to execute payment to the 5125 Company in an amount not to exceed $10,000 once emergency project is complete. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
I move for approval.
Second.
do I have a motion and a second to go ahead and authorize and execute payment for the emergency sanitary sewer and manhole repairs? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. 412,
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 4.12 is the authorization to award bid for the purchase of meter connect supplies for the Public Works Department. The City of Mission has received 4 bid responsive. Staff recommends to award to Ferguson Waterworks, who is the lowest responsible bidder, meeting all specifications. Contract will be for 1 year with 1 year renewal option. Orders will be placed on an as-needed basis throughout the 1-year term. Estimated cost is of $30,000. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
I move for approval.
Second.
do I have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the estimated cost of $30,000?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes, motion carries. 413,
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 4.13 is the authorization to purchase equipment and labor for a 15 rooftop unit, package train unit via state-approved contract for the Public Works Department. Train is on the buy board, number 552-17. The estimated cost for this rooftop unit, air conditioning unit, is of $17,950. Staff, city manager recommend approval for purchase of equipment.
need a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the estimated cost of an air conditioning unit in the amount of $17,950. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Item 414,
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 4.14 is the authorization to award bids for the purchase of waterline maintenance supplies for the Public Works Department. The City of Mission has received 4 bid responses. Staff recommends award to Core and Main LP, who is the lowest responsible bidder meeting all specifications. Contract will be for 1 year with 1 year renewal option, and orders will be placed on an as-needed basis. Estimated cost is of $120,000. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
that is the lowest bid.
Yes, sir.
We need a motion to go ahead and approve the responsible bid of $120,000.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. 415,
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 4.15 is the authorization to solicit bids for the replacement of a 10-inch high-service pump and motor at the North Water Treatment Plant. Existing pump and motor are not performing to standards, and replacement is needed. Pump and motor maintains treated water pressure in the distribution system. Staff and city manager recommend approval to solicit for bids.
I move for approval.
Second.
do I have a motion and a second to go ahead and authorize to solicit bids to replace a 10-inch high service pump? Do you have a motion and a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. 416,
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 4.16 is the approval of work authorization number 12 with Javier Hinojosa Engineering related to the storm drainage and stream improvements at Anne Marie Drive. Work authorization number 12 entails plan specifications, estimate for storm drainage and street improvements project at Anne Marie, Bryan West to Golf Course. Project improvements include storm drainage, curb and girder replacement and adjustments, utility adjustment, and asphalt overlay. The estimated cost of work authorization is of $44,500. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
I move for approval.
Second.
Do I have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the work authorization number 12? To Javier Hinojosa Engineering. We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. 417.
Thank you.
Benson.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Have item 4.17, it's authorization to award bid for fence installation. This fence installation is along the west property line of Birdwell Park and continuing along the right-of-way of the north property line of Lot 1 Barnes Birdwell subdivision. 5 bid responses were received for the service contract. Awarded bid is for Hurricane Fence Company, who is the lowest responsible bidder, who met all specifications. The bid amount of this project is for $10,999. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
I move for approval.
Second.
Do I have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the lowest bid of $10,999? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Is that the only bid?
One more.
Got another one for you. Item 4.18 is the authorization to accept grant from Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, the local park grant program. This grant is in the amount of $500,000. This matching grant of $500,000 is for the proposed construction of Mission Tennis Complex at Birdwell Park. And this grant will be met with grant proceeds received last year from Valley Baptist Legacy Foundation, also in the amount of $500,000. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
So move, Mayor. Second.
Do we have a motion and a second to go ahead and accept the grant of $500,000 from the governor's office? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, great news.
Congratulations.
419.
Mayor, on 419, I'm going to ask if we can take no action on this item, which is 4.19.
No action on it. And then 420.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Item 4.20 is the approval of the amendment to interlocal agreement with Hidalgo County. This amendment cites $75,000 that we will be receiving from the Hidalgo County for the procurement of e-content for the electronic library that we have. These items will be available for checkout for the residents of the county. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
So move, Mayor. Second.
The amendment is $75,000.
$75,000.
We do have a motion and a second to approve the amendment for $75,000. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.
Thank you.
421.
Item 4.21 is approval of a resolution regarding the allocation of quarterly payments to the Hidalgo County Appraisal District as per the Property Tax Code of 6.06E. The Hidalgo County Appraisal District is requesting re-verification of quarterly payment modifications as per the Property Tax Code, and the governing body is required to formally approve this request through resolution. The modification establishes 4 equal payments as follows. The first quarter payment is due on February 2nd, the second quarter payment is due on April 10th, the third quarter payment is due on July 10th, and the fourth quarter payment is due on October 10th.
What's the resolution number?
1542.
I
So move, Mayor.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve resolution 1542. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. 421.
Item 4.22 is a budget amendment in the general fund. This is a budget amendment for the $75,000 in revenues and expenses allocated from the Hidalgo County as presented in a previous agenda item to purchase reading material in electronic format for the electronic library project, which commenced in prior year, that will be utilized by library patrons across the county to improve literacy rates. This item is now before you.
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the The budget amendment is $75,000 from the general fund. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
No, Mayor, just on behalf of the City of Mission and, letting the public know that we hope they enjoy their Easter Sunday with their families, and we wish them well.
We now go into executive session.
We closed on Friday?
Yes, real quick, Mayor, we do have office closed on Friday in observance of Easter Sunday, Good Friday.
Mayor, I move that we go into executive session pursuant to VTCA Government Code Section 551.001.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to go into executive session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes, motion carries. We need a motion to reconvene.
Move to recommend.
Second.
We have motion and second to reconvene. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes, motion carries. We have no
Mayor,
action.
No action.
no action is needed on item 7.1A, consultation with attorney regarding constitutional implication requirements and the sign ordinance of the City of Mission Code of Ordinances. An item will be presented at the next agenda for your consideration, Mayor and Council.
So we need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We adjourn.